Yeah. So it is global perspective. So I said, no, whom are we targeting? Whom are we focusing on? We are focusing basically a set of people. It can be of any age group. So we just select that age group first. Then when we speak of select age group, is it married, unmarried, what type of people they are? Then based upon the employment, what type of what work they're doing? Are they semi-skilled laborers, or they're skilled laborers, or they're unskilled laborers? Who are they we are focusing on? What type of people we're focusing on? This is, see, when we speak about innovation, no, I said we have to go to the finest details. We cannot just take a global perspective. We cannot just tell, I said, no, big thing. You don't take it straight away very big. You just categorize. You go to the fine details. You just select which type of people we're focusing on. Okay, or is it, are we delivering this invention for a business people, a set of business class, or a big company? Okay, or we are doing our design, or we are creating this invention for an entrepreneur. So an entrepreneur asks something, and they basically come to students. Let us basically computer science, IT, artificial intelligence students. No, they have a lot of scope nowadays. Most of the entrepreneurs, they need expertise from youngsters uh, for coding, for programming, some small things. No, they don't go to the company people. They don't go to the IT company straight away, because their technology, all that is totally different. The demands are totally different. But whereas when it comes to students, you will like to learn more. You like to explore more. So the entrepreneurs just they focus on students. That's the reason whenever we have final year project presentations, no, we involve the industry experts or the entrepreneurs. We involve them into the institution. We ask them to come and just listen to the sessions, what we're going through, or the projects that have been presented. Now, when they see that, no, they get inspired. They say, I definitely want to pitch in. I want to definitely help this student. I want to help this set of project people, or I would like to help them with that domain, what I'm working. So they will correlate. When they correlate, no, so what actually happens? You will definitely give the best. So whom are we giving our work to? Is it for entrepreneurs? So we just see what type of work they're doing. Now, so when this all is problem statements, so there are a lot of problem statements we come across later on. I'll just give you one example. So when we go to the finest details, what type of person we're dealing with, that is where we can start working. Now, there are so many things: lifestyle, people who are retired, who are at home, academic people, people who like to socialize, YouTubers, technicians. So many things that we have to think first. We have to come to those finer details first. Then we can start our innovation. So this is one insight. Why startups fail usually? Why startups fail? Definitely not just because of my lecture. Definitely because of someone else's motivation. Maybe your super seniors, family members, somewhere you would have been inspired with the sessions. No, you will inspire that you want to do something, you want to innovate, not maybe you want to do it commercially, but something new you want to bring out. Today, with the extent of technology that has been available, it is understood why startups fail, because there was no market need. There was no need of the invention. You can just Google somewhere. You can Google and just check out unnecessary inventions, or unnecessary products, something like that. If you can Google and you just see, you can just see there's so many things that have been invented and brought into the market which are not used by anyone else. So there was no market need in the first place. 42% of the startups fail because there's no market need. What do you mean by that? See, it is not like you have prepared something and you expect someone to use that. It cannot work out like that. What is the immediate need? What is the requirement in the market? So you have to identify. Once that is identified, only then your startup will progress. There are some other reasons. It is not about finance, but it was about the market need that was important. Then 29% of the startups they failed because they ran out of cash, they did not have the right team. Okay, they got out competed. That means someone went ahead of them in the race. They had differences in cost and pricing. Okay, they were not user friendly. They did not have a better business model at all. Okay, they had very poor marketing, and these are all the minimum things, least things. Okay, they ignored the customers. They did not take good customer feedback. The timing of the product was not right. Sometimes you will be very ahead in the market with the product. Sometimes you have not made the market rate. Now, when you saw that slide where I had showed the mobile phones, no? If the LED display came very fast, what happened? It would have been very costly. It would have been very costly. It was much beyond any person's requirement, because the extent of internet, the extent of exposure, all those things were not even there. Okay, you were not. If you just go 2014, something like that, no, or 2016, prior to 2016, you just, can you imagine that we could have 1.4 GB or 2 GB data every day that we can use? No, we could never. We never even thought about that. Geo brought into the market free internet. So when the concept came, no, everything went like boom. So everything was totally different now today. So timing of the market also is necessary, but that was not the primary reason where startups fail, but it was about the need in the market. So this Wired magazine has asked, what innovation do you think is changing most lives in the developing world? What type of innovation? Melinda Gates said it is human-centered design. It is a human-centered design. I said a human being as the first, not a machine or not money. It is not that. It is about human being. You won't start an innovation, or you won't be an entrepreneur just to earn money. If that is the first thing, you will fail. Okay, to become an entrepreneur, money is not the first thing. It is about whom are you going to do this for. So it is a process. It is not an outcome. It's not an outcome. Means I do this, I'll get in money, or I do this, I'll become the richest person in the world. I do this, this will be the market changer. No, it is not about it. It is a process. It happens step by step. You start small, then you gradually reciprocate with what you have done, and you go to a different level. So this is human-centered. It is a process. So here, Melinda Gates said this: meeting people where they are and really taking their needs and feedback into account. Meeting people where they are and taking their needs and feedback into account. Have you seen sometimes even in the college, no, we take feedback from this. Why do we take feedback? Because it is about improvement. We try to improve ourselves. Some people after the program, again we take feedback. Why? For better improvement. We know somewhere we lack, somewhere we can improve. Now, when you, as the on the receiving end, when you just see what is happening, no, when you give the feedback, what actually happens, we can design it much better. We can come up next time with much better plan. So when you let people participate in the design process, you find that they have often ingenious ideas about what would really help them. It is not a one-time thing. It's an iterative process. Now let us go more deep into this. For the next 15 to 20 minutes, I'll be speaking right now about designing. I just spoke about innovation. What's an innovation? It's the ability to see the change. Okay, it's ability to see the change. Why should we innovate? Because there is definitely a need. There's a definite need. Now, how do we innovate? How do we innovate? We don't follow certain formula. We don't follow, this is how it should be. It's not about a textbook. So there is a method. So the best way innovations came into perspective, like for example, Facebook and all those big institutions or big companies that you see today, no, they emerged as market movers or market changers. They became market changers. How? Based on this design thinking approach. So design thinking is, by definition, it is a human-centered approach. Those who are making a note, write down, it is a human-centered approach. So whatever I speak, it is human-centered. So when I use this word human-centered, it is about something where we are connecting with human beings. When we speak about human-centered design, there are three things that you have to understand. One is desirability. Is it really desired? Is it really required? Okay, that is called desirability. So what is required? What is the need? What do people desire? That is first thing that you have to understand. Now, second, whether it is technically feasible or as an organization, as a collaboration, is it feasible? Now, if you just take any product, aeroplane, flying an airplane, no? One industry may not manufacture the entire aircraft. So thinking is methodology for creative problem solving. Now, again, here you see the word creative. It is mentioned as creative. Okay, critical thinking is different, design thinking is different. When you come to critical thinking, let us say you're working for an organization. The organization says we have to bring this. You know the outcome. Now you're working for the outcome straight away. That means you know the outcome. How do you proceed? Also, you have some idea. In some cases, even if you don't know what is the outcome, still you know the process. How should we travel? What formula should we apply? or who is the hierarchy. All that you will be having in your working model. Okay, that is different. Okay, that is critical thinking. In critical thinking, that in design thinking, you won't have that formula. It is a process. It's an iterative process. You will just see what are the stages next. So in businesses and social contexts, it is about how we design products and a new way of thinking that's based on users' need. Okay, so design thinking, it's a creative problem solving method, and it is a new way of thinking that's based on user need. Please underline the word user need. Okay, user, human, again, human centered. It is not about an organization or an entity or a thing or a machine or computer. No, it is for human being, human centered. Now, yeah, this is the origins of design thinking. It happened way long back in 1969. So design as a way of thinking, then it went on, okay, later on. So it became very much into the market by this IDEO. They brought this into they just proposed this idea again. They adopted into their business. Okay, you can just Google it later on. What is IDEO? So they were pioneers in manufacturing this cart. In shopping markets you have this cart. So that is where they made a breakthrough. So after that, this became a significant progress for all the innovators. They adopted this design thinking methodology. Okay. So there are different definitions. It is a problem-solving approach. It is used for tackling complex problems. Then it is an human-centered approach to innovation. Human-centered approach, again, human-centric approach for innovation. So in design thinking, we seek to understand the user. That is why this is why the user, the person for whom we are designing a products or services for, is considered at each stage of design thinking process. At each stage, we'll see what are the stages. 5 stages, as per what you see here. No, in the previous slide I have shown you. Here they use this 5-stage design thinking methodology. And when I attended a workshop earlier, then a session on NPTEL, there the professor explained to me it was way ahead of this, way long than what I'm seeing on the screen. The Buddhists even adopted this in their philosophy. They call it as karmic thinking, karmic approach. Okay, so way long back itself, we have ancestral reigns for all what we see right now. So it is human-centered. So they had different terminologies for that. I'm not going to that terminology, but I'll just keep it to what is actually existing right now, what is spoken by the institutions across the world. So it is a human-centric approach. Then it is an iterative process. That means once you start a process, again you come back, you redo it, again come back. Why do you have to redo? Simple. Like I said, no, I take a feedback, but based on the feedback, I come back, I work on that specific point where I have to again satisfy customer. For example, you buy a product. Whenever you buy a product, no, you are giving a feedback. In some hotels, they do that. When you buy a product on any e-commerce website, they'll ask you for feedback. Why do they do that? They have to improve their business. So they can't just think mine is a 200 crore valuated company, or one company cannot say that I have this much valuation, so I'm a successful model. No, it cannot happen. So they always want to better what they're doing. They want to always have something much better in the future. They don't want to get out competed. So in this perspective, it is important that they come back, just work on their feedbacks. They work on what insights the public is giving. Okay, or they want to adopt what is new, what technology is prevailing now, what happens in the next 5 years. So all that it brings to this iterative process. This means in different stages of design thinking process, you will use the results to review, question, and improve any initial assumption, understandings, and outcomes. This makes the design thinking approach a non-linear one. So it is not just straight. It is not just step A, step B, step C. It doesn't happen like that. After step B, step C, and step D, again from D you may have to come to A, or again you may have to come to B. That is called as iterative. It is a solution based. Design thinking provides a very hands-on approach to problem solving. You will formulate several potential problem solving approaches, prototype them, test them in the context of problem being solved. Due to the iterative nature of design thinking, you will be able to reshape and optimize these approaches until an optimal solution is chosen. So it is solution based until you get the optimal solution. That means when you start your innovation, you want to bring it to this, you want to satisfy a person. I said no, human being. So that means you will have many solutions, or most of the solution can be possible. Now, which is the best among this? Which is the best? That is what is called as solution based. So it is, you're not arriving to just one solution. You may arrive to n number of solutions. Okay, among that you may again cut short. You bring them down to what is the most best possible ones. So that is called a solution based. So it is an problem solving approach. It is a human centric approach. It is an iterative process. Also, it's a solution based. Okay. So we saw the definition of design thinking. Now, what are the components? Like what I showed earlier: feasibility, then the desirability, feasibility, and viability. So you can just see when all the three of them are possible, only then you can innovate your product. This is called as components of design thinking. Component, not stages, components. Okay, we have seen this. Now, stages. Most of my work that I have put here is from where I have learned from various websites and from various literatures and from various lectures that I have listened. So that is what I have put over here. You can just see I have put the references where I have taken this. So design thinking has 5 stages. Those who are making a note of this, write down 5 stages. First stage, empathize. Making a note. First stage is empathize, empathy. Second, define. Okay. Then third is ideation, ideate. So define, ideation is something like analyzing something. You're analyzing. Define is nothing but analyzing what you have got, what you have seen by your I will just say like observation, or through some survey, or through some research, okay, or through some video inputs. That is called as empathy. Then that you analyze. So that is coming under define. Then ideation, you try to solve, you just try to bring everything into perspective, then try to get the best solution, whatever is possible. That is called ideation. Then prototyping. Prototyping is not necessarily bringing a product. You don't have to bring an actual product. Let us say if you want to design an app, okay, you don't have to bring that application straight away into the Play Store. You can just have a formulation, like my app is going to be like this. This is my first opening page. Then this is what will be the tabs, like that. Even an app, okay, you can prototype. Let us say you want to prepare a spectacles like Google Lens, something like that, which came to market. No, it never happened just straight away like that. It was based on customer feedback. It came into a very good product. Okay, we call that as prototyping. Then you test. You bring it to the actual customer. You will ask a lot of feedback. Is it comfortable, or is it usable? Is it user friendly? So many things like this is called as testing. These are 5 stages: empathy, define, ideation, prototype, test. Make a note of this. These are the 5 stages that we will be speaking right now. So when we are doing all this, no, when we are going through these 5 stages, you should not forget who you are solving for. Whom you are solving, it is a human centered. So we are keeping human beings in perspective. Whom we are solving for. Then what are the needs? When you define that, what are the needs? So when you are seeing a person, let us say you want to solve a problem for a maid at home, or a watchman at a bank, okay, or some person who's on the street without help. Okay, you want to solve. So whom you are solving for? That is the target. Then you understand, after listening to all what they said, you're collecting a lot of information. Now you will understand. You have to just analyze what is their need. That's called as defining what is their need. Then how do you solve them? You know the need now. You have come to a point now. This is what it requires. Now this person is in shortage of money. This maid is not she's lacking health. She's not having that strength to carry out her work. Or this person is without hope. He needs counseling. Now, how do you solve all this? How do you solve this? Then again, you bring, after getting that solution, you bring it to that person. Then you will just check how will it work? How it will work. Then now there will be feedback. So this is called design thinking process. So stage one, empathy. Stage one is empathy. Now, what is empathy? You're going to draw a persona. Now, when we do this in a workshop, definitely I will be splitting into teams, who all the participants will be segregated at least into 6 teams. 6 teams will be given a problem statement. I'll tell you what is a problem statement again. So problem statement is nothing but you identify a need, you will be working for that. Now, at the end of the lecture, I will explain to you about Smart India Hackathon. There you can just see there are various problem statements, various themes that we're working on. So here in empathy, we will be seeing their world. We'll go to the world. We'll go into their shoes. Okay. Let us say our children at home are not coping with the education, or you're not able to understand a lecture, or you're not comfortable traveling every day. So there are so many things that happen. No. So as an innovator, what you do, you go fit into that world. You go into that world. You go into that person's lifestyle. Sometimes it requires that you have to tell them to work normally. You will just fit on CC camera or some not hidden camera. It will be there, but they should work as if there's nothing there. Or you may be sitting in place. You will just be making a note of what is happening. No, you would have seen this in YouTube recently, like a day in the life of an Google employee, a day in the life of some director, something like that. Okay, we go into their world, then you understand their feelings. You understand their feelings. Okay, then communicate. You communicate whatever what is happening there. There will be communication. Then you appreciate them as human beings. You should not be biased. We cannot be judgmental. No, like this. No, we can't. We are not there to give solutions. We are here just to take all the information. Like I said, no example of a watchman. If I take a watchman, now that watchman will say so many things. I don't know the language of this place. I'm coming from a different region. My family's away from me. Or he will say, I'm not able to cope up with the food. I don't know how to travel. I'm not comfortable with the climate condition over here. Every day I'm getting tired. I don't know how can I meet a doctor. I don't have any friends here. Okay, I'm always afraid being at the bank ATM. Some people are very rude. I don't know anything about the technology. There are so many things that person can start complaining. So many things you will start to say. Now here it is. You want to do something good for that person. Okay, so like that, you go into that person's world. This is called as empathy. Empathy. You draw personas. You will try to take a lot of information. In design thinking, the most important part is empathy. This is where you try to become a good leader. A person who can empathize will be a good leader. So you're seeing, you're hearing, yes, and also you're feeling. Okay, this is what is happening in the first stage of design thinking, right? You are seeing, you are hearing, and also you are feeling for that person. So here you are understanding the person's needs, correct? This is where you will come with a lot of questions. What, how, why, so many things. Now these are things that you will segregate. Now, what is a person's exact need? Why is he in this situation? How has he arrived here? Like this. Now, under this, you will put whatever you have observed, you will put under these columns. What is that person's needs? What are his immediate needs? What are his not so important needs? Okay. And how has he come over here? What is his family background like this? Why has he not improved? Why has he not come up? Like this. So many questions you will put into perspective and you will form a persona. We call that as a persona. So in a workshop, again, yes, I will tell you how to make a persona, how to create that, all that I can explain. So here, understand. First stage is empathy. All of you are those who are writing, write it empathy. So I believe you can understand. At the end, you can shoot your questions. Next stage. Yeah. So when you're empathizing, when you're empathizing, I said no, you should listen. It is not the place that you talk. You basically listen. You listen. You're not going to come to conclusions. You're not going to judge that person. So you have to be calm. Listen to what he's saying. You have to have very good sense of hearing. Be understandable. Ask open-ended questions. Open. Don't go very personal. Don't become so religious. Don't go into the religious activities. All that, you just keep it away. Whatever it is, just take. Whatever the person says, you just try to take it as information. in these cases. So this depends upon different scenarios. Different problem statements have a different information. I just gave only one example. I just different things. Elderly person not able to handle a mobile phone. That also can be a problem statement. Okay. Or how do you bring all this into one single PDF, not just PDF, or into one particular Google Classroom? How do you fit everything into one semester? And how, like that, so many things. Like for that, in that case, you can just create an app. Okay. So you will be asking so many questions here. So many questions. You will take a lot of information. This cannot happen overnight. It will happen over a period of time sometimes. Empathy. Okay. Then the next step is defining. You identify the core problems. You identify the core problems. You just take the core problems. Okay. Once you just take all the information, you have to segregate them. You have to put them, which is the most important, which is not so important. Okay. Which can be immediately handled, which can be tackled. All this you have to define. This is called as analyzing phase. Right? It is called as analyzing phase. Okay. One professor said, find the root cause. He said, like, find the root cause. Like, what is the reason? What is the reason? So you know, in stage one, you know something's wrong. What is the, you know, in second, define phase, you will try to reason. You will know the reason. You will come to know the reason here. Okay. First is information. Now it's reason. We call this as define or analyzing phase. Analyzing phase. Now here, how do you analyze? How do you define? Now here, you require a good team. Good team is, it doesn't happen like that. Now the person who leads will definitely create a very good team. As simple as that. You should have a good leader. Team will be really good. Now here you come into a room. You come into a particular place. You will have lot of material that you take, or sticky notes. In that, for matter of fact, you will take sticky notes, board, all the sketches, whatever information you have taken, that team, whatever information they have taken, you will try to pen them. You will try to make a note of them. You will try to just paste them on a board. Then you will start working on this. You will try to identify the core problems. Then after that, you will just go into more details. You will go more into the details. You will take one by one. Like, that person's name is this. This person has come from so and so place. He has to travel and he doesn't have money. This money is insufficient. Like that. All that you will categorize. You will categorize insecurities, food related issue, personal issue, family issue. All that you will identify. This is called as defining or analyzing. Okay. How might we, in simple words, how might we solve this? How can we do this? All this comes over here. Third one is ideation. Ideate. It is something like you try to put yourself into this. Now here, after putting yourself into this, will this really work out for that person? Which is the best way to work out on? Okay, we call this ideation. Now you try to create as many solutions possible. Now here, this is one thing that you have to remember, especially if you are the leader or the team members, you cannot judge anybody's solution. Everybody's solution should be taken. Everybody's ideas should be taken. Okay. We cannot be judgmental on the team. No, this cannot work out. No, this is not possible. This is not right. This is not feasible. That should not be there in this case. Everybody's idea should be taken. You have to take everybody's idea. Let us say we are a team working in a department, or you are a team working on a project. You have to take everyone's ideas, what they're thinking. One person will speak in terms of finance. One person will speak in terms of outcome. You take everything, put them together. This is called as ideation. Okay, you work now as a team, work together. Take everybody's inputs now. Now this input is for bringing a better solution. We call this ideation. Okay. Then you come to the fourth stage. We call this as prototyping. Prototyping. Now, when we come to prototyping, you don't have to create a real product. You don't have to create a real product. Okay. You don't have to bring it as it is. This is what should be in the market. You don't have to bring a real mobile phone. You don't have to bring a real app. You can just bring something in that scale, in that way, something similar to that, or which will give you the best information. Now, if you say an app, This app will have this information. Okay, you can just show it in a slide. You can just show it in an website, something like all that is called as prototyping. So there is different ways you can prototype. Okay, there are different methods you can prototype. You can just take cardboard materials, you can take scale pencils, straws, anything which is around you, you can take them. You can create small models, small models. This is called as prototyping. So we saw empathy, we saw define, we saw ideation, prototyping, 4 steps. Okay, this is prototyping. Clear? I believe you're making a note of this. In prototyping, you don't have to make the real and actual product. You can just create something which is more or less similar to that. All these are available in this. Okay. Finally, test. When it comes to test, you have to take this product to the user. You have to bring it to the user. Now you have to make the user feel your product. This is how it is going to be. This is how it looks like. This is how it is going. This is all what it will be there. Okay, you have to make the person feel that. Okay, this is called as test phase. Now here you will get so many feedbacks. Lot of information will be given by the customer. He will say, no, this is like this, it is hard, it is heavy, I can't understand this. How do I go to this stage? Why should I do this? So many feedbacks will come. You have to take all these feedbacks. This is called as test phase. Take all the feedbacks, receive all the feedback. Okay, empathy, define, ideation, then you have prototyping, testing. 5 stages. I hurried up over here, but we have to spend time. I said, no, in a workshop, each of these phases will take at least 1 day. 1 day. Okay. So when you try to work out on this, no, you come once again back. After the feedback, what actually happens? You will just come back from this test phase. You will come back from this test phase. You will again come back into ideation. You'll come back to ideation. Sometimes you have to come back. Okay, this is the feedback he has given. Now let us again try to analyze based on the feedback. Now again, we'll put what are the most better solutions. What can be the most better solution? Then after that, again, you will prototype. Okay. So this is an iterative process. You come back once again. You just repeat the process again and again and again. This is called as design. Sorry. This is only called as iterative process. Now, in all these cases, in all this, you have the human being as a center. So this is again human centered. So design thinking is a process. It is not an outcome. We saw, no, if it was just a best solution, then most of the problems would have been solved. It is not like that. Okay. So design thinking is a mindset. It is not a toolkit or a series of steps. Okay. Now, after seeing this, some of you will get a question. Sir, you said design thinking is not like a formula. It is not like an it is not a way that we can arrive to a solution. Now again, I'm saying here it is after seeing all this. Now here it is said it is not an toolkit. What is it a contradiction? No, it's not a contradiction. So that's the reason. No, you've seen. You have to come back. You repeat the process again and again. There's a cycle. There's a cycle. You are just again come back, start working on this, again go back. You understand so many things again. That is where you can arrive to the best solution. That is where you can have the best innovation. So innovative thinking is at the heart of design thinking mindset. Innovative thinking is the heart of design thinking mindset. So when you want to innovate something, you start with design thinking first. Before arriving to a product, you first think, you have to think it in an innovative way. Now, this is the best way most of the entrepreneurs have suggested. The successful business models have evolved based on design thinking methodology. So that is what I wanted to put in front of you today. So you understood the first, we spoke about innovation. Then we spoke about design thinking. I briefly explained what is critical thinking. So in critical thinking, you know the process. You know the process how you have to do. Here, this process is not necessary that you have to follow this step this way. You again have to iterate. You just come back and do this. You don't go from A, B, C, D. In critical thinking, it is A, B, C, D. That's all. You finish step 1, step 2, step 3, step like that. You come out to a solution, whatever it is, finished. But here it is not like that. Okay, until the solution is best, until the customer is satisfied, you just work out on the process. So it is a time-taking process. It is a time-taking process. It doesn't happen just like that. right? So that means problem statement is unknown. In the first case, you don't know what is the exact problem, and you don't know the solution. So the problem is unknown, solution also is unknown. Whereas in critical thinking, you know the problem. Okay, you know the problem. That is, you have to do the exam well, you have to perform well, or you have to arrive to a destination. So there, what you do, you try to increase your speed. So you go to the better solution. So that is what is critical thinking, no? But when it comes to design thinking, you don't even know what is the problem. How are you going to solve that problem first? So that is where design thinking comes into perspective. Then solution. Is this the best solution? This may not be the best solution. Again, we'll try to work out on that. So this is design thinking. No, that is how the best products came into market. If you just see all the e-commerce and now the social media websites that we're using, no, there are so many. Even for matter of fact, the email that we use, not everybody's not all the companies that we are following, we are stick to one or two maximum, right? Even for matter of fact, the payment applications, we're not using, most of us will not use everything. You restrict to one. Maybe you may download it so many, but you will be using mostly one type of e-payment gateway or one UPI application. You may not use all the UPI applications frequently. You use one. Why do you do that? Because you find something is much better, something as an edge. So that can be in a different way. It can be because he is giving good perks or good cashback, something like that. Or when you do something, when you want to buy something on e-commerce, so you see that because someone's giving good discount, or the product in this is so better, it is reliable, the quality of the product is worthwhile, and you can take a risk even to buy a costly product rather than going to a store. So this all is innovation. Okay, this design thinking has come into perspective. Only then you're sticking yourself to such and such product. Okay, so here you don't know the problem, even you don't know the solution. So in that case, you are working in design thinking methodology. Okay, the aim of design thinking education is not to create designers, but rather create problem solvers. It is to create problem solvers. So here I would like to put an end to my presentation. I really appreciate all of you for being so patient with me. If you have any questions, you can ask questions, participants.
Sir?
Please go ahead.
Sir, this is me, Sandhya from CSC Department, third year. Sir, I have a doubt in creative thinking step. So, how could we reach out to the people or who is our end user? What kind of mode would be sufficient for us to collect data?
Yeah, maybe I missed out on saying this. In critical thinking, you know the environment where you're going to work. Simple as that. You know the environment where you're going to work. So when you know the environment, no, you know the procedure. What is their usual method? What is the methodology they adopt? So you work according to that. So you know the environment. So there is so you're not going out of the environment, no. So your boundaries are defined over there. So that's what happens in critical thinking. But whereas in design thinking, your environment is not defined. No, the person may be in one place, again he goes to different place. His problems are totally different there. But whereas in critical thinking, your boundaries are also totally defined. Yes, any questions further? So someday later, we would like to have all of you in a big hall. We would like to have all of you in a big hall. Then we would like to do a real problem-solving case. I think I also wanted to brief about Smart India Hackathon. Just one moment. Yeah. I'd like to share my entire screen here. So the main motivation comes from this to all students. So ACTE and IIC cell. I'm sharing my screen. Can you see my screen? Participants? Not yet. Not able to see my screen.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So students, you can just log into this site sih.gov.in. This will lead you to Smart India Hackathon 2022. You have sorry. Yes, yeah. There are so many problem statements that have been defined here. There are so many problem statements around, so many problem statements. You can just check over here. There are several themes that have been mentioned. Theme like agriculture, or it is about blockchain technology, cleanliness, green technology, fitness, biotech, heritage and culture, or something related to medical. So like this, about energy, sustainable energy, smart automation, robotics, drones, disaster management, smart education, travel. So these are themes. Under these themes, again, you have categories. Yeah, whether it is software or hardware, where you want to work. Okay, so you can just choose any one of these themes and start to work on this. Under these themes, you have problem statements. Problem statement. Okay, these problem statements are given by very famous organizations like government sectors. So AICT themselves have given some problem statements. Okay, then there are so many other companies. You can just see these are mostly government organizations like DRDO. Okay, Ministry of Empowerment of Person with Disabilities, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, PWD, Food and Public Distribution. Okay, then Ministry of Posts. So many. There are so many government organizations, some private sectors. They have. You can just see here even corporates are involved in this. Okay, government as well as corporate, both of them are involved. They are giving problem statements. You as a team, there is an registration also here. You can log in. You can register into this. Here you can just see register now. You can register over here as a college faculty. Sorry, not here. Somewhere. Yeah. You can register here, and you can just work on this problem statements. You can just choose any one of these problem statements. Take some time, form your team, and try to create better solution. How do you create better solution for this? Now, why should I do this? So this is where most of the students can create or develop this innovative ideology or innovative thinking. Okay, this is a beautiful platform where all the students can participate. I said all the students, regardless of any group. It is not just CSE, IT, or artificial intelligence only should work on this. Any department can work on this. You can create your own solutions in this case. Okay, so the last date to submit your idea, last date to submit is March 31st, 2022. So in the year 2020, our college was the nodal center. We were part of the Smart India Hackathon. Most of the faculty members were part of this. There are a few faculty who have joined today. They know what is Smart India Hackathon. You can have them as your mentor. Okay, you can have them as your mentor. So check the problem statements over here and try to work out on this. This is an national-wide event. The prize money for each problem statement is 1 lakh rupees. Okay, each problem statement is 1 lakh rupees. So this will be given straight away to the students. Okay, it is not to the institution, it will go into the students. So try to go into this website, make use of this opportunity, even if it is a physical gathering. That means you have to go to any particular nodal center and work. I believe every institution will permit their students. Okay, it will definitely permit the students. It is not that you have to win it straight away. This season can be a good learning curve. It will propel you to do best in the next upcoming seasons. Okay, so I recommend all of you to work out on this. There are other hackathon events. Now this is specifically from government, okay, from the government. Last time when we did this program, we were part of this. Even the Prime Minister interacted with the students, not with faculty, with students. He interacted with students. Okay, so try to register into this. And now whatever I was said right now, design thinking approach. No, this design thinking approach will definitely help you in arriving to a better solution. You can just choose any mentor from the institution and start working on this.